Hello, I'm at GuffmanHouse.com, and this is a ride Burnout Wide. The Ride Burnout Ride is an awesome all-mountain freestyle deck that kind of caters towards more of the freestyle deck than the all-mountain board. This is Jake Welch's board of choice. You can see it all over the mountain from the tops of the peaks into the park, but it really excels riding freestyle terrain. Now, the graphic is awesome. It's done by a guy named Sketchy Tank. He grew up, I believe, in Mammoth Lakes. Now he lives in California, and he does these rad graphics. So you can either run with us or you can run from us. And this is the Burnout. It's a hard-charging freestyle deck. It's a true twin board with a unique and a flat tip, kicks, nose, and tail, meaning that past those contact points, the nose and the tail is nice and flat, so it provides a nice little ollie and kind of press platform. It also has a pretty darn cool profile shape. It's called a twin hybrid camber, meaning the board is pretty much all camber, which I love because it's aggressive, responsive, super poppy, but it does have the contact points kind of like rockered up just a little bit, but not too much. There is a centered stance, 2x4 inserts, and surprisingly enough, a pretty darn good flex rating of about a 6, and I agree with that. But I'd have to say that the middle of the board, the center of the board, is actually going to be a little bit softer than the nose and the tail. And overall, too, this is a wide board, so this is perfect for anyone with size 11 feet and larger. I really like what Ride does with their wide boards. They're progressively wider than most, so if you're on like a 13, 14 size boot, you can still have a fun time ripping around on this Burnout Wide. Now, inside is a pretty awesome core. It's called the Performance Core. It's a combination of 3 different styles of woods. We have classic aspen, which is really poppy. We have bamboo, and then there's a super lightweight paulownia, which is really great. This is a pretty bare bones style wood core. There's not a lot of like milled out laminates or anything of that sort, and that's been wrapped in hybrid glass. So that's Biax glass on the bottom, which is super soft. It runs at 90 and at 0 degrees, and then it also has a Triax on top, which is at negative 45, and I believe that's 0. It's a great combination of both. And then there's a couple of additional laminates. And the reason I say the nose and tail is going to be a little bit stiffer is because of the Carbon Array 5. There's actually 5 radiant carbon stringers that start right by the contact points that radiate towards and underneath your feet on the opposite style edge. So there's a greater energy transfer from your feet to your body, and then of course right onto the board. And then in addition to that is the slime walls. Now these are unique urethane style sidewalls. Yes, they absorb impact. Yes, they reduce chatter, but these ones have been beefed up. They're called pop walls. The pop walls actually have carbon within them from underneath where your feet rest all the way to the contact point. So there's a sandwich style construction of urethane and carbon, making it just a little bit more lively and responsive. This thing has tons of pop, especially with the camber profile shape, the additional laminates, the glass, and the core. This thing is very, very reactive. And then there's the base. This is one of my favorite bases from Ride. This is the Fusion 4000. It's a sintered base. It absorbs tons of wax, and it has a nice contrast in the die cut. Of course, you see it says Ride right there, of course. And then wrapped around this whole board is a 360 wrapped steel edge. But it's not just a standard steel edge, it's the cleaved edge, which uses 50% more steel, making the edge less likely to crack or break. This is a totally dope board. I know a lot of guys that ride this that absolutely slay on it. I have such a tough choice, like figuring out what ride board I would ride if I chose just one, and it would probably be this one, the Ride Burnout Wide. And of course, you can check it out at thehouse.com.